It's very critical that the donations keep flowing in for programs like the Samaritan House. It's very scary out there, especially when you don't know where to go. And especially, I got so much pride. I don't like to depend on people. I always was an independent person. And it's hard when you need this type of help and you're not used to it. It's tough. It's really tough. You can hear someone talk about it, but when it happens to you, I lost a job 23 years with the company. I thought I was going to retire. An English firm come over, took over. Before you know it, they cut out 7 middle management people. I was one of them, you know? And then from that day on, my life just went downhill fast. It's like a snowball, you know, just building, building, building. You can work years and years for what you got, but overnight you can lose it too. My back was against the wall. I had nowhere to go. Catholic Social Services, they're out there 24/7 for anybody in need. I'm 58 years old. Never in my wildest dreams would think I'd be in this predicament, reaching out for help.
David is just one of the thousands of people whose lives have been touched by your generous support of the Catholic Charities appeal. As we begin our 71st annual appeal, the need is greater than ever.
The house I was living in was foreclosed on, so I lost everything. Without Sister Rose's house, I would probably be on the street. You can't grasp the amount of integrity that is lost until you become homeless. When you become homeless, you lose everything. You start from scratch, you pull your bootstraps up, and you start over. Oasis program is part of Catholic Social Services. It's a pilot program. They house 2 people to an apartment. They help with the rent. They teach you budgeting. They have case managers for everyone involved. So it's a pretty good program.
Me and Denzel came to the Donovan House when he was 5 months old. Honestly, if it wasn't for the Donovan House, I really don't know where me and Denzel would have been. I don't even like to think about that. Dinner time, we would cook together, our kids would eat together, our kids would play together. It helped me grow as a person and as a mother, and having the Donovan House was like a close family that was there for me when my own family wasn't. So the Donovan House helped me and Denzel get through a difficult time in our lives.
David, Herbert, and Jessica are just a few of the nearly 450 people who are provided some form of housing on any given night through various Catholic Social Services programs. CSS provides a continuum of care for families and individuals who are homeless that ranges from emergency shelter, transitional, and permanent supportive housing. This system allows a positive progression for individuals and families that builds on their progress in a system that knows their strengths and weaknesses. CSS is the only agency in southeastern Massachusetts that has this spectrum of care. Housing and housing retention programs are also available for homeowners, providing housing, credit, and budget counseling.
We're seeing a lot more clients that would never had stopped through our doors because they were well off, and they've had now a change and a circumstance has occurred that they have no choice now but to ask for help. In the Cape and Islands, we were able to service last year 75 families, and we were able to help with rental assistance, homeless counseling, energy assistance. We were able to provide first-time homebuyer education and foreclosure prevention in those areas, along with mass health and food stamp applications. And it's thanks to the donations that Catholic Charities receives.
Last year, 94 cents of every dollar donated went directly to service our less fortunate neighbors and friends, people in need, many times due to circumstances beyond their control.
Over the years, my family and I have donated. This year, I did need it. I had a breast cancer scare, and I had surgery in October, and afterwards I had no employment, no money, and so I actually reached out to the Catholic Charities, and they were able to help me out. For me, to reach out and ask was hard, but I did it because we really needed it.
I was working. I was extremely active. I'd be with my grandchildren. I babysat my 2 youngest ones. I was doing that up until 3 weeks before I found out I had a brain tumor. So within a week, I was in surgery. And then I woke up 4 days later and I was blind. And it was a very, very tough and hard experience, and I've had to learn pretty much basically everything from the beginning. My hopes for the future are to become very independent. I could say I would hope that I could go back to the way I was, but I have to look at reality and know that that's not ever going to happen. To be honest, without Catholic Social Services and Matt's help, I don't know where I would be. I really don't.
Other services included the Parish Christmas Gift Program, which distributed nearly 5,000 gifts to over 1,600 children. Complete outfits of clothing were given to each family, as well as food and food vouchers. Faith Formation, providing a variety of activities for the youth and young adults of the diocese, including Theology on Tap, an opportunity for young Catholic adults, both single and married, to meet in a comfortable setting to explore their faith and how it affects their lives. And Campus Ministry, providing a place for college students to gather and experience their faith.
I think it's important for college students to have a place to practice their faith on campus, because I think these are really developmental years in a person's life, and you should be able to practice your faith when you're away from home, and it gives you comfort to have these kind of programs on campuses.
Because of your donation, the television Mass, which is estimated to be seen on a regular weekly basis by at least 15,000 people in approximately 6,000 homes, provides spiritual comfort for the sick and homebound in our diocese.
I think it's wonderful for people like me that can't get out. They just love to hear Mass, and they miss not going every Sunday. So when it's brought to them, it's just a great privilege.
Your donations also fund programs such as marriage preparation.
The marriage prep program is a mandatory program that anybody who wants to get married in the Catholic Church is required to attend. We give them some information from people who have been married a while, real life examples from testimonies by the individuals on such things as communication, intimacy, creating a family, creating a home, abuse. People who contribute to this are helping our future generations so that, hopefully keep the divorce rates down and the marriage rates in a positive direction.
When marriages do fail, the diocese has a divorced and separated support group that provides practical aids for healing and becoming whole again. Your support also helps fund the permanent diaconate, which presently has 67 deacons in active ministry serving 62 different parishes, with an additional 16 men enrolled in the formation program. Your donations to the Catholic Charities Appeal have changed the lives of tens of thousands of people, stretching from Mansfield, Easton, and the Attleboroughs through the Taunton, Fall River, and New Bedford areas, and extending all the way to Cape Cod, Nantucket, and Martha's Vineyard. Because of your support, there is 24-hour chaplaincy in hospitals across the diocese. At Cape Cod Hospital, Falmouth Hospital, Toby Hospital, and the Rehabilitation Hospital of the Cape and Islands alone, there were more than 11,000 patient visits, over 17,000 communions distributed, over 2,200 sacraments of the sick administered, and 643 emergency anointings.
It's important to continue to fund Catholic Charities, especially for the ministry of the sick, because it's such a daily needed ministry. People come in, they're sick and disorientated at times, and sometimes we're the only friendly face that they see. Without donations, we would not be in existence. The ministries at the hospitals would fall apart. It's through pastoral care of the sick that we attempt as chaplains to follow in our Lord's footsteps, to bring about this care that is necessary for the people. And just to be there, those special, intimate moments of them is truly a gift from God.
The dollars you give and pledge now reach people throughout the entire year, and not just Catholics, but anyone who needs the services and programs it enables. Adoption by Choice is a program of Catholic Social Services that provides domestic and international adoptions, supportive services, counseling, ongoing interventions, and pregnancy counseling.
I think the social services that Catholic Charities offers is very important because in this society, unfortunately, birth moms are not really supported. When our daughter's birth mom went to the agency, she was in crisis, living out of her car, having trouble making ends meet, and she really didn't have any other place to turn. Without Catholic social services, she probably would have chose a different option, and Sophie may not even be here. Catholic social services was there for her, and I think that's extremely important for pregnant women who are in need. We took Sophie home at 5 days old, and we wouldn't have her in our life without Catholic social services.
Your donations help fund the Hispanic Apostolate, offering pastoral ministry in Spanish to immigrants from many different countries and Puerto Rico. The area's other immigrant populations are also serviced through ESL and GED programs, legal assistance, counseling services, and citizenship preparation classes.
I think it's important to donate because the citizenship class helps us a lot.
The citizenship class is wonderful, wonderful teacher. February 1st, I went to a citizenship test and my wife passed. Thank you for helping me become an American citizen.
It is due to the generosity of people like you and the more than 31,000 parishioners and supporters of last year's appeal that we were able to help local people in need.
Thank you for helping us realize our lifelong dream.
Not to mention, we never would have met this little angel here.
I've always said that if you give, someday it will come back and give you what you need. The oil that I received from the Catholic Charities got me through a whole month to keeping us warm, my daughter and I, so thank you.
Thank you very much.
To the people that have donated, I wish you were here because I give you all a big hug. Without you, we would not be able to continue. Without you, I would not have received many blessings from carrying out this ministry. And without you, your donations, the patients would not have received the care that they needed. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
I want to thank the people who donate to the Catholic Charities in the past because it's such a help. And please continue. We need you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I would like to thank everyone that has donated to the Catholic Charities Appeal because it's through the Catholic Charities Appeal that Catholic Social Services is able to provide these educational programs or the assistance of these families that find themselves in an emergency or something that occurred that they weren't expecting.
The people that have donated to Catholic Charities, I would thank them from the bottom of my heart. It really, really helps someone like me, someone disabled, someone that is going through a bad time. Thank you.
Give. Give heartily. Give whatever you can. Thank you.
At the most horriblest times where you feel like there's no light at the end of the tunnel, that little bit of help that we do get, it doesn't matter for how long, it shines a light, you know, and I needed help for 6 months. I now have my own place. I now go to school. My son's in daycare. So it's that little bit of light that was at the end of the tunnel from the donations encouraged me to keep moving forward. And now I donate stuff to the Donovan House myself.
You know, word of thanks, there's probably, you couldn't thank them enough. And whoever donates, and it doesn't matter how much is donated, just for the fact of that donation and the support behind the donation gives everybody a feeling of comfort, you know? And there's hope, there's always hope. No matter how bad times are, there's always hope. Thank you.
You've heard heartfelt testimony directly from people who have been ministered to through your past donations. I extend to you my gratitude, and in this 71st appeal, turn to you once again for help. Together, we can reach out to those who have trouble meeting even their most basic needs. Together, we can change their lives.
Caring, sharing, and offering hope, please give generously to the Catholic Charities Appeal.